1 in 3 children, and 2 in 3 in the inner cities are raised without their fathers. Trust me, I should know, for I was one who had his childhood plagued with being a fatherless son. What else could I do but turn to the guns, turn to the streets, turn to selling drugs? Feeling the pain that over 24 million kids in America feel each and every day. The absence of their father's love. He only came to see me one time, and that was a week after my birth. 4 years later, my mom's caught wind that my father had breathed his last and left the earth. But the question remains, what was it about me? What was it about me that he was so ashamed of? Because of his decision to abandon me, I never had the chance to feel the embrace of my father's hug. Never heard him whisper me goodnight. Never had the chance to look deep into his eyes to see my reflection in his sight. The simple truth is that fathers are merely irreplaceable in shape, structure, and character, and the absence of a father is the most socially consequential family trend of our era. It is written deep into the heart of our generation, painted in art, heard in our songs, about the constant number of single mothers juggling both sides of the trade, raising their kids alone. And the responsibility of what it really means to be a father has somewhat been dethroned. The consequence. Young, innocent souls are collateral damage because of fathers, sperm donors, who refuse to step up to the plate. So for a man to bring a child into this world and doesn't fulfill the role of the father will leave that child with a scar of disgrace. Trace the pain on the face of a fatherless child and tell them hell is not a real place. Convince them it doesn't exist, and they will bend to differ. Ask them how many days is it nice when shed the tears as they view the reflection in the mirror, saying, if my father was truly a part of my life, my identity will be a whole lot clearer, and I will have more direction instead of constant battles with depression. Because fatherless children spend majority of their lifetime chasing acceptance. Like fatherless daughters who look for affection with men through sex and collecting emotional wounds, causing them to wear masks and costumes. So by the time they meet Mr. Right, their heart is so broken and no longer bloom like beautiful flowers in sunlight. And fatherless sons hit the streets and they learn to fight from the rejection they feel on the inside. And they are the masterminds behind most crimes, gangs, and homicide. And overall, fatherless children packs a high rate when it comes to teenage suicide. Check the stats. 85% end up in prison. 80% are rapists. 90% runaways are homeless. 71% high school dropouts. And 70% are tied into teenage pregnancy. And get this, kids who are born to unwed mothers are 10 times more likely to live in poverty. Sadly, our society is unable to sustain or even give reason to believe in fatherhood as a distinctive domain of male activity. Consequently, kids are forced to see their fathers as fantasy figures, told to them through the stories they constantly hear from extended family members. And like me, some kids only see the faces of their fathers through pictures. So I figured that I'll write this poem in hopes to change the hearts of men, to plead with each and every father to have a dominant role in the everyday life of their kid. Because a kid's heart filled with their father's love is like ink in a pen that never runs dry. Endless supply to help sustain the pulse of the kid until the day they die. And the worst thing a father could ever do is leave his child confused with whys and ifs, because a kid's trust is such a precious gift that no man should never neglect. And even Jesus said that any man offends a kid, it is better for a millstone to be hung around his neck and drowned into the sea nevertheless. Because God, He fights for the oppressed. Judge a man who leaves his child fatherless. Because any man who turns his back on his kid is nothing more than heartless, selfish, one who is slacking. And maturity doesn't come with age, but they accepted in one's responsibility for his actions, like supplying the most important need. So never forget, if you are a father, you have a mouth to feed. And as a culture, our belief in fatherhood is constantly under siege, like attacks in Iraq, exploding like bombs. And when the smoke clears, the casualties, broken-hearted kids with masses of single moms. So as I bring this poem to a close, the script of fatherless children has a never-ending plot with real-life characters unfolding each and every day throughout the streets of America. It is a story of shame and pain, drenched in blood and tears. Children taking full blame for why our fathers disappeared and went MIA. And these are words and thoughts that the kids should never have to replay. So it bleeds my heart to say that 1 in 3 children and 2 in 3 in the inner cities are raised without their fathers. Trust me, I should know, for I was one who had his childhood played with being a fatherless son.